The Nationals are not going to have a lack of suitors for Juan Soto. They are not going to be pushed into making a deal that they don't love because they don't have leverage, because they do. So we need to keep that in mind as well. Now, let's think about that Mariners package for a second. Marte is depending on who you ask, a top 20 to 40 or so MLB prospect. He's not Julio Rodriguez, and it's not close. He's also not a shortstop, and he's also not within a year of the majors. All those things kind of nag away at Noelvi Marte's, trade value in terms of being this premium headliner type. Noelvi Marte is not an elite prospect. He's a very, very good prospect. So the Mariners are behind the 8 ball here when it comes to trading pure prospects and trying to find a headliner. Or two, because it's Juan Soto, you kind of need 2 headliners. You do. Now, what do I always say? Well, I always say a lot of things, but I do say this often as well. Sometimes it's not about the prospects. Sometimes there's a player or two on the big league roster that other team is going to prefer, and not just because he's in the majors, but because that's where the value is. When you look at clubs like the Mets, for example, or the Orioles, the Blue Jays, the D-backs, maybe the Cardinals, Tigers, Dodgers, they all have better headliners available to them when we're talking about the farm system. Because, you look at what Seattle's got going on, their best guys are in the big leagues. And I'd imagine the Nationals want at least 2 high-end difference makers, and might prefer one bat and one arm, all other things being equal. I think from a pure prospect standpoint, which we're going to veer off of here in a minute, Seattle would have to include Arroyo or Ford from their system. Marte and Ford. Marte and Arroyo. So, Scott, when you were asking me earlier, should they dangle Arroyo? And, Scott, you didn't say that you were talking about just Soto, because I think you were talking about other stuff. I think you were talking about, Castillo and Drury, or, Montas, or something like that. Yeah, you could do that. Like, the Mariners do not have untouchables in their system. None. Not Ford, not Marte, not Arroyo, not Emerson Hancock. They don't. But I think at the end of the day, the Mariners, from a prospect standpoint, when you're talking about the Mariners farm system, they get beat out by numerous other clubs unless they veer outside of their farm system. And they include either Logan Gilbert, Julio Rodriguez, or George Kirby. That, my friends, is a headliner. Julio's going absolutely freaking nowhere. Hey, it's Jason Churchill. To get the full episode, as well as every other episode of the podcast, past and future, subscribe for as little as $5 per month by going to bit.ly/getthepod. That's bit.ly/getthepod, all one word. A link you can also find on my Twitter profile. Hey, thanks for checking out Baseball Things.